HBCU Stroll. Uh, we're live here with myself, Johnnie Cole, and got a special guest, a legend in the SWAC and also in the NFL. But today, we're going to talk about what happened this weekend. Of course, Jackson State won the second in a row SWAC championship, and the big news about Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State and on to Colorado, University of Colorado in Boulder. Has listened to all the great interviews, all the people that made comments about his move, and who better to talk with than the man who done it himself, who done it before Dion done it, left the NFL and actually came back to his alma mater and took them to three championships and national championships as well. My man, Doug Williams.
Good morning. Good morning. How you
What's
doing,
up, Coach?
man?
Boy, we got some hot folk out there today, man. Doug, you told him on the show the last time, and
It's,
he
it's
had to take the job. You
I
know,
mean, I don't know what they had about. What happened this past weekend is generally what's happened not only at Jackson State and other places. It happened all over the country.
right,
When a guy get an opportunity, and I think he summed it up best in his press conference. You either get terminated, elevated,
that's right, that's
and
right,
and he's right.
that's right, that's right. Well, this is the time I think, Doug, that we supposed to be cheering for him with flags and everything. And the biggest argument, and we're gonna get into all of this, there's been 10 jobs been filled. Only one of them been by African American. That's what we should be arguing about.
Yeah,
You
we,
know,
we shouldn't we shouldn't down Dion for what he's done. First of all, let me say this: he has brought a lot to Jackson. He's
Whew.
done a lot at Jackson.
Yes, sir.
He's given HBCU a whole new outlook that was just going along. All of a sudden, they raised it up. But what he's done for Jackson over the last couple of years, you got to applaud him. And I was on Facebook last night and I saw where the Jackson State alumni congratulated him, and I thought
Right,
that was a class act.
right.
But you got these other people outside little pockets talking about he used Jackson, he used the black kids. That's not true.
No.
I mean, you want to talk to somebody who used the black kids? We talk about Tuberville. That's who used
Wow.
the black kids.
No. Oh
If you
no.
look at it realistically.
Well. Let's talk about graduation. More black kids graduate from black schools than they do the PWI schools. So
And that is the truth.
that's the
When you
truth.
look at it realistically, because 9 out of 10, when you go to a HBCU, you're going there to get your degree.
Right.
That's almost a given. When I went to Grambling back in the day, degree was the most important thing because you didn't think about the NFL and places like that because your chances was not as great. So you got to get
Right.
that degree in order if you
Right.
want to coach or do whatever you want to do for
Right.
the rest of your life.
I think one of the things that people need to take the blinders off. HBCU schools are strong. HBCU schools are needed. HBCU schools got their own way of doing things. We got to quit putting us down. Of course, Doug, you heard about recruiting. Oh man, they party too much. They go. It's so much of mythical untruths about HBCUs. It's crazy.
And you're right about that. It's unfortunate. You got some people who say we don't need HBCU, and you got some black folks who buy into that. That's the worst thing about it. The ones that don't go to HBCU, they tend to think of and talk about the HBCU. I can remember when I was in '94 when I was coaching at the Naval Academy. There was a young lady who worked for the football team, and she had nerve enough to tell me one day we were sitting there talking. And she was talking about, at the HBCU, all they talk about is racism and this. I said, hold on. I said, now, one class I ever took in my time at Grambling State University, racism, as far as we being racist against other people, never, ever came up. And she didn't understand that because, she didn't go to one. She went to
Yeah.
Power Five school, what have you. She just going by what she think. Not
Oh,
that
oh,
what
oh,
she heard or
right.
what somebody else say, but, at the HBCU it's needed, not just because we can't go other places, but it's needed because a lot of kids would feel better going to the HBCU. And at the end of the day, when you get to be our age, Johnny, you look back on it and you say to myself, man, wasn't nothing like going to Grambling. Wasn't nothing like going to Texas Southern. You can't
Yeah.
even buy that experience.
Right.
And a lot of these people would be better off if they had gone to HBCU.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, man, you can never get rid of HBCU. They're there to stay, and I love them. Let
Yeah.
me tell you like that. I love it.
I mean, Coach, man, it's just so crazy when I hear the stuff, and I get on us though. You know what I mean? And last week I had his assistant head coach Gary Flea Harrell, and like me and Harold, this is why Jackson State and black schools important. Deion Sanders will not get this job if it wasn't for a black school to take a chance on him. And he came in and he played his cards. He gave us or them or whatever what they want. The diamond rings, the gold jewelry, the hat tilt to the side. He played that role very well to be able to display his talents in the coaching field. Because he did get it done coaching. And he done
And he
it.
did. And I think Jackson State and all the black colleges really got to look at this whole situation. Look at the fan that he brought into Jackson State. I mean, you look at that stadium, you're talking about 50 some thousand just about every home game. That's never has happened. And what he did for a lot of young men on the team, they might be sad to see him go, but a lot of them was rejuvenated because they was there with Dion, because he did that. Now, what we got to do, first of all, whoever's the coach at Dion at Jackson State after he's gone, he can't be. He ain't Dion. He won't be Dion. There's only one Dion Sanders in the whole wide world. The things that he did at Jackson State, can't nobody else do that.
Right.
And he gonna bring that same thing to Colorado because why? It's Dion going to Colorado, nobody else. Now, what has to happen for some of these open, Johnny? And I say this. The schools that have open in their position, don't look for Dion because he ain't there. Look for somebody who has experience, who coached, who want to be there, that got passion. Johnny, I'm gonna say this. You and your brother, man. I've always said this, and we played against each other. We talked about it last time. There ain't two better coaches in all America than you and your brother, man. And coaches, these ADs need to look at that, but they don't. And there's some other black coaches out there that deserve an opportunity.
Yeah.
Look at what's best for your program,
Yeah.
not what's best for what you're looking for. That little shot in the arm. I can promise Deion Sanders ain't gonna come back through HBCU again in
Right.
life.
Well, Doug, and I thank you for the appreciation of our flowers. I mean, just like yourself. I mean, you came from uh, PWI and came and took over at Grambling. You was a pro. You legendary. You know what I'm saying? And it was hype. And you came in there and did what you're supposed to do. The greatest thing about this, Doug, and we talked. You interviewed at Kentucky State. He actually got the job for a change. The PWI now can say there's guys that go into the SWAC conference that can coach and are professional enough to handle the big stage.
Oh,
Because
you got to give him opportunity, though, Johnny. And that's why I like what happened with Dion. He gave an opportunity, and don't get me wrong. I know Colorado had black coaches before Dion, but the fact that Dion come from an HBCU says a lot. And I am hoping that these other schools see that you coach down at HBCU too, and give some of these guys who's doing a great job at these schools and at the HBCU an opportunity to move up if they want to. I
sure,
think that's the bottom line, and I hope that's what Dion go out there and show the world that hey, I coached at HBCU. They got a lot of great coaches down there. They need an opportunity just like everybody else do.
Right.
Just like the coach at Albany State. He just got a job at Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, he had a Division II school, but you know, he's a white guy. That's
Right.
a different ball game.
Right.
You know, what if there had been a black coach at Albany State and did a good job? Would he had gotten that job?
I mean, Coach White,
I
when he
think
was at
we got to
Albany
be
State.
fair. Well,
Yeah.
we don't have to be fair. They have to be fair and give us that opportunity to
Right.
move up because we do some coaching down at the black colleges.
Well, that's why we got to cheer Dion on. We got to the pray Warriors, and we got to cheer him on. I mean, we got great coaches division. Chennis Berry 11-0 at Benedict. You got Coach Simmons at Florida A&M has won every year. You know what I'm
Nine and
saying?
two, right?
9-2 every year. We got some great guys. We got my guy. He's the athletic director over at Tuskegee. He won like 5 or 6 championships. I'm gonna get his name
Yeah, but you
when he
got
comes.
Parker
But
at Virginia Union. You
yeah,
know, he
good.
they won there. You know, you got Richard Hayes up in Fordville State. I mean,
Yeah,
you got a lot of great coaches who don't get that opportunity that we wish that Dion now. Hopefully, he opened a door to a lot of these other ads around the country to see that these guys deserve an opportunity.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the biggest thing. It's just our presidents and our ads and stuff like that got to give us an opportunity uh, to get in there and to grow. And with I don't know if you've seen the video of when he got to Colorado and they were showing him all this stuff. They got a hot whirlpool and a cold whirlpool. We're a long way from that, and I hope they see that this the kind of stuff that you need in your program.
But you know what? I like the way he handled it because he told those guys that was sitting down in front of him. He said, if we had this, ain't no telling what our guys would have done. He was letting them know at the black college, we don't have this.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's I always said this. You know, a coach at a historical black college is better coaches than a lot of guys at the other schools because why? When they drive up in the morning, they park their car, they get out their car, they walk straight in, and it's all football every day.
Right.
There ain't a head black coach in the whole America. The HBCU job is just to walk in and talk football all day. I know when the 6 years I was at Grambling, you know, every day you probably had 2 or 3 kids waiting in the office for you when you came in there because they didn't have a meal card. They needed something addressing. And you got to do that along with the coaching. And that's why I say, man, on any given day, HBCU coach is a better coach than a lot of coaches out there who don't have to do anything but concentrate on coaching. Now, that's what Dion got to do right now. You know, he's blessed. He don't have that other stuff issues. I talked to Dion when he was at Jackson, and and he still had some complaints. They wasn't major complaints, but he'll tell you what he didn't have at Jackson, which I already understood that that you don't have it. You probably ain't going to get it. Right. But now at Colorado, I promise you, he probably got indoor facilities, and you see where he was talking to these kids in the big old auditorium. He got everything that you need to coach. All he does is drive up and meet with the big boosters and meet with everybody who's going to be supporters of that university. Right. And that's his job right now.
I tell you, he came in there, he's talking straight to some of them players. You know, if you ain't on board, you need to go now. You know, that's Eddie Robinson, coach. That's Daniel Taylor. That's W.C. Gordon talking there. This is the way we going to do this now. Now you going to play football or you going to Hollywood?
The only difference is back then, they didn't have that transfer portal. He told him, he said, hey, if you don't want to do that, go to the portal.
Yeah. And see, that's what people don't understand is just talking about the portal now these days.
Right.
You know, you had to go through a whole paperwork and all that to get a transfer, and the school you want to go to couldn't talk to you on the phone and all that kind of mess. And so now kids are leaving like it ain't nothing. So why would a coach not leave?
It's a free agent. It's kind of like professional football now, you know. And I just read just a while ago where, you know, and I know Jackson don't like this. Travis Hunter just announced the fact that he's transferring to Colorado, but that's to be expected.
Right.
That was going to happen.
Right.
But I also read there's a 5-star kid coming out in 2025 just flipped his to Colorado from Texas A&M. See,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
what Dion brings to Colorado.
Yeah.
With stuff like that happening, a kid 2025, he got 2 years left, and he
Yeah.
flipped his already.
Wow.
That's an impact that very few people carry.
Yeah.
And I think we all got to recognize that. And, we got to say here, I mean, if you went to a black college and if you're black anyway, you got to pull for Deion Sanders at this particular time.
Oh,
And
no, no question.
and I'm sure there's a lot of white guys that's going to be pulling for Deion Sanders that loves Colorado.
Right.
And one thing I can say about Deion, he don't discriminate.
No.
Deion wants the best. He want to do the best job that he could.
Where he want to win. See,
Yeah.
And Doug, you said that earlier about how he choosing a coach. He ain't into all that. Nick Saban ain't into all that. If you can do the job I want, I ain't gonna say Google you. You ain't gonna you don't get drunk or something don't happen. If you can pass the test, the background test, and you're a hell of a coach, that's what I want, because winning gonna keep my job.
Hey, and I don't care whether you smarter than me or not. I want you on my staff because why? I'm still a head coach. You can be the offensive coordinator, defensive back coach, as long as we get the job done. Yeah. And I think that's where he is, man. But I look back and and one thing he did do at his press conference at Jackson, he recommended TC for that job.
Wow.
And I know TC. He played there. He does know Jackson. He was the interim to Deion got there. When Deion got there, he kept him on. But he sat down. He said, I'm just recommending. I don't make the decision. He said, but TC is the guy that I would keep in house. So
and coach, I when I try to talk to these young cats about being a head coach, you got to get some older guys around you. It's so many stories about, you got to get young coaches because they can relate to the players. That ain't important.
No.
You got to get some guys that can coach and understand. If you notice, Doug, I don't know if you even noticed, when you coach at a black school, when you become the head coach at a black school and you lose that job, well, you don't get no more jobs. You can't go to another assistant at another school. And it's been some, but not enough.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And see, that's what happened to black colleges, man. These ADs and stuff, they look at things a whole lot different than a lot of other people. No matter how good you was at that school, you don't get another chance. And that's unfortunate. And they'd be looking for, I guess, looking for pretty things, something to hang their hat on and think that's a good hire. And they come in and boast them up. And a year or so, they want to run them out, because you don't have anybody with a foundation. I'm just going to say this, man. I believe anybody who's coaching at a black college, except for Deion, is a little different. You got to have love for that college. And I think Deion came in with love. At least he brought it in with him. If you don't understand and love black college football, if you come in there thinking that it's just a job, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, it ain't going to work for you. Because no matter where you are, it's a whole different dynamic of who you're dealing with. Not only the football, but the alumni, everybody you're dealing with. It's a different dynamic. And you got to be able to do it.
And we got, and I just want to say, we got to respect that dynamic. It's okay. We not Alabama. We not Texas. We not UCF. We HBCUs. And that don't mean that no whites or no other ethnic group go to black colleges. Black colleges is filled with all kind of ethnic groups.
Let me tell you, man, and it's unfortunate. We talk about that all. Me and Shaq Harris talk about the athletes that have gone to black college and then still in black college. But I think what Deion did with his football team, he kind of put everybody on notice. He wasn't they good enough to go to the next level or not. He had them thinking that way.
Right.
And I think when a guy get there, you got to have that in your mind. If playing in the National Football League is something that you want to do, it ain't going to happen your senior year. It starts when you get to that school.
You mean the 40-yard guys? I'm going to bust the 40 and 4-5.
It ain't going to happen that senior year. So that's where you got to come in with a mentality. But at the same time, you got to go to school. You got to get your degree in case you don't make it to the finish line. You got something else to do. I think that's the most important thing.
Well, one thing, talking with you, Doug, and I feel the passion, and you just bring my passion out even more about Black College. I can't say enough because I know I wouldn't took no snaps everyone for Texas Southern, but I just want our people to understand and stop putting us down. We got a place in this thing, man. We got to build ourselves up. The same enthusiasm we got behind Deion Sanders, we need to continue that behind every college. Mississippi Valley need to support. Pine Bluff need to support. All our black colleges need to support. And we got a product. We got a product.
Let me
And I
tell you,
wish them commissioners would get together.
yeah, the SWAC right now could build the strongest conference in the country. I mean, I'm talking about from a FCS standpoint. If Mississippi Valley, Pine Bluff, everybody's competitive. I think everybody got to band together and find a way to help those what that can't help themselves pretty much. But at the same time, Mississippi Valley and Pine Bluff got to help themselves too.
Right.
You know, the president and administration got to put a little bit into it to bring it up. Because to me, everybody should be semi-competitive, if anything else.
Right.
You know, and I think it makes it that much better from the Bethune-Cookman to the Florida A&M to the Jackson State, Alabama A&M to the Alabama State, to Southern, to Grambling. Man, everybody, this conference could be one heck of a conference. And I'm hoping the Commissioner Charles, who, I've talked to every now and then, and he wants the conference to be a strong conference. And I do too. And not look to move like A&T and Hampton. You're taking away history. Right. And you're going like Tennessee State did a few years ago. Right. You're taking something away from being HBCU, man, because at the end of the day, no matter what conference you go into other than HBCU, you're going to be treated a little different, believe it or not.
Right.
So you might as well stay here and put your arms around each other and have friendly competition every year. I think that's the most important thing.
Right. I'll tell you, I'm going to put my coach's hat on now, Doug. And I got to say, when you and LC, myself, Melvin's been a head coach, Pete, Broadway, it just ain't no way we let Deion come in and win the SWAC 2 years straight. ain't no way. Because I'd have went out and recruited everybody he was recruiting. Just ain't no way, coach. He gonna come in and he gonna Muhammad Ali me. He gonna let me know the round. He gonna knock me out. I'm gonna win the chip. That wasn't going on then, coach.
Hey, look, man, I've sat there in the last year or so, and I thought about the team that we had back then. Yeah. Like I told you, I was looking at the game out there. I'm looking at Earl Cochran coming off the edge, man. I'm looking at Donnell, throwing the football. Yeah. And I'm looking at the athletes that I had at Grambling during that period of time.
Right.
I know, whatever Deion had, I'm not going against Deion, but I'm just saying whatever Deion had, we had those type of guys. Right. Mentality wouldn't have let it happen. Right. Their mentality would not have laid down and let that happen. They would have found a way to compete and find a way to win that game, man. I just talked to one of my kids I coached back in the day. He called me this morning, man, and he said, Coach, I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate everything you did for us back then. And I was glad to hear from him because it brought back so many memories in the time we had when we was at Grambling, man, and the time we had playing against you all, man, and Pete, Coach Pete at Southern, and everything was a dogfight.
Right.
Everything. Nobody laid over.
Right.
It was great,
that's
man.
What I was just saying, about these guys when they get these head jobs, and I'm looking at these staffs and stuff, and I'm trying to find a guy that was a former head coach or a former coordinator on the staff, and I can't seem to find them. A lot of those guys are at home now, and I just think that we don't support each other like we should. And as soon as Deion left, then you get all these, he fooled us. Deion never came to Jackson State to stay at Jackson State.
Yeah, I think they got caught up with if you listen to Deion and Deion was in the moment. He was talking to his kid that day, not for tomorrow, it was today. and we're gonna take every day one at a time. And like I say, Dion did a great job, but I think too many people thought thought that he was gonna stay there forever. Like I was on the phone, we had a committee meeting on the Legacy Bowl, and one of the guys on the call said, "You think he gonna leave?" I said, "What you mean? Do I think he gonna leave?" Oh, I don't think he's going nowhere. I said, "Let me tell you something. When the whistle blow for that championship game, when that clock run out, he's in. I said he's gonna either be in South Florida, Colorado, or Cincinnati. I said that's how soon it's gonna be. But what they don't understand, that deal was made before the game was played.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
that's been in the works.
I,
But you got to understand how business is done. That's how business is done. It ain't done when the game over. Let's talk to Dion. No, 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 no. We've
well,
already talked to Dion. He's already accepted it. So we just gonna wait.
right.
I said that. I give Colorado credit because they said we're gonna give them this week because they got to recruit. See, that's what the black college don't understand.
Well,
With these job openings now, Johnny, it is recruiting. And if you don't have nobody in place, how you gonna recruit?
Doug,
We
we
need,
still putting together 12 panel committees.
no, we want applications. We want 40 applications. Man, you don't do that. You call somebody to find out who the coaches around them. You get you 4 or 5 guys, and you say, I'm gonna talk to those guys. I'm gonna rock with those guys, and then you pick your coaches. Because if you call the right people, they ain't gonna tell you no coaches that they don't think can do the job.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I know I've talked to a couple guys, and you tell them who you think. Don't mean you have to have, but hey, this who I think could do a great job.
Right.
Now, whether they listen to you or not, you don't know. And they go out there and, like I say, want to find a Dion.
Right.
And what we need to do is write a bulletin to all of them, all the schools that got open, and make sure we cross out there and say there are no more Dions out there. I think that's what we got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't no question, man. I'm hearing things about Ed Reed and the linebacker from the Ravens, and
Ray
I'm not.
Lewis.
Yeah, Glenn. I'm not against Ray Lewis. I'm not against any of that. But there's a whole bunch. Now I'm gonna be the first to say, Doug. I'm gonna admit that I didn't think that one of those big PWIs would give Dion a chance because not because he's coaching, but because of his demeanor. The big gold chains, uh, the hat tilt to the side. Uh, I didn't think that, but what I found out, and of course, you've been in that realm, is it's about who gonna make us win. That's what they care about. Who
Well,
and with the other hards and Hugh Freeze and Kiffin and all these guys that had trouble in their past, the head coach at University of Texas. Hey, it's about can you do the job?
well, let me say this. I'll be honest with you. Auburn should have hired him. Auburn should have hired him. But what you just said might have had something to do with the good old boys, the boys who got that money and stuff, passing it out there. Don't didn't want to give it to Dion because of how he carries himself. But you're talking about an individual who never been arrested, never been charged with anything, and lived a good life. That's just who he is. But I want to give props to Colorado for
Right.
stepping out there and getting it done.
Yeah.
Colorado, to me, did something that a lot of schools should have done.
Right.
It ain't about black or white, it's about the individual. And
Right.
everybody know Dion is black, but they also like what Dion brings to the table. And
Right.
I think that was the most important thing Colorado did. And my hats on, I ain't never been a Colorado fan,
Right.
but now I got to pull for Colorado. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for
They
what
got
they
some new
just done.
fans.
Huh?
I said they got some new fans now.
They got me for one.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I,
not
I
that that's
hope.
matter, but I mean, I just like the way they did it, and they did it with class. And I see what Dion got to pay Jackson $300,000 to buy this contract, and that's a good thing because that ain't never happened.
Well, I think Colorado would do that with a strike of a check.
Well,
Yeah,
Dion can do it too.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Ain't no question. And
Mm-mm.
that's the thing about man. I'm like, I'm like, God, man, we talking about thousands of dollars, 100,000. These people over here talking about millions,
Millions. See,
millions.
that's the part that got me when they talking about, oh, he ain't gonna leave. See, that's somebody who, when they was in school, didn't do arithmetic, not math, arithmetic.
I got
You
you.
know,
Yeah.
when you talking about 5.9 compared to 400,000, 5.9 mil, man, let me tell you, that's a lot of numbers in arithmetic between that. You know,
So he made
that in
that in two
itself,
months.
huh?
He made that in 2 months.
That's what I'm saying. So we gotta be careful. The man got opportunity to better himself. He did that.
Yeah.
All that he deceived the players, he deceived the school. It did not deceive. Because anybody out there, if you're a teacher and all of a sudden somebody calls you to be the superintendent, are you gonna continue to go to the classroom or you gonna go be the superintendent?
Right.
No,
Ain't no
they got
question.
a lot of that.
You
That's
know,
what they're gonna do.
and I don't think people understand coaching. Coaching is a tough career. I mean, it's high divorce rate, high alcoholic rate. Your job depending on 18 to 23-year-old kids in the day. Uh, you don't have a whole bunch of fathers in the house, so if you're a tough coach, some of the kids can't take tough coaching. And then when you got people that and that's one thing Doug, I know on Black College, the president is the one that wants to carry the big stick, and everybody knows that the head football coach is the face of the university, and you got to deal with that part of it. Then you got
Hey,
coaches on your staff that's competitive, that want your job. You got to deal with that part of it.
hey, look, you said that your coach is the face of the university, man. The last time I was at Grambling, when I went through that, and I was, 2 years, I had to deal with that, because the president, we was in certain places. If I walked in, if I didn't go kiss the ring, he had a problem. So,
Right.
and I wasn't. I mean, I walked in a building, no matter what it is, it didn't matter doing that. But I never forget when I went in his office, he told me, he said, "Fella, we're gonna go another direction." I'm looking at him and say, "Okay." I just said, "Okay," you know. And he thought I was gonna go ask him why or whatever, but I didn't. I walked out. I said, "Okay," because I knew I was in good hands.
Right.
I knew I had somewhere to go, but I understood that me leaving Grambling, was doing. I was doing something that I wanted to do and I loved doing,
Well,
and I also knew I can get another job. But at the same time, I left out of there with nothing said or anything else. And the players, they was dumbfounded. They didn't know what was happening. And I told them, "Hey guys, somebody else gonna be your interim coach. I'm gone. Boom, boom, boom." That was it.
yeah.
But you know what? He can't take Grambling out of me.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm
Right.
still Grambling. At the end
Preach.
of the day, I understand where the reason why I'm standing here is because I went to Grambling, because I had an Eddie Robinson. I had somebody who had compassion. We had a president that didn't have no compassion. He didn't care about Grambling. He didn't understand Grambling. And you have to deal with that. And this happened at a lot of these universities. They bring in guys that outside don't really, first of all, not into athletics. That's the number one thing. That's a problem in itself. And then not into the school itself. It's just that I'm the boss of this school.
Yes.
And they wear that, because I'm the boss, not because I love this school, but I'm the boss of this school.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, that hurts a lot of
It's so it's statistically known that there's not one HBCU school where the head football coach make more money than HBCU football school. That's crazy.
It is, because at all the other schools, at these Power 5 schools, like with them,
Ain't even
the
close.
president don't make no $5 million. That ain't gonna ever happen. It's always the coach. They put the coach out there, because he's a favorite. Think about Alabama. Who is the president of Alabama? Nobody knows.
Right.
No,
Right.
nobody knows, because why? The football team is the face of it, and then not only that, for enrollment, man, they don't understand what enrollment does to you for football. When football got a good program and winning, and your band is playing at these HBCU, that is big time. That's what it's all about. That's what it's built for.
That's on every level. That's in high
Yeah.
school. If you got a good football team opening up the school year, you're gonna have a good school year.
Great year. Gonna have a great year.
Yeah, I know that for a fact, and I think I don't even know if you know this. The year they let you go was your 25th anniversary of winning the Super Bowl.
Oh,
To me,
I know.
that was a year that you were supposed to have a fundraiser for Doug Williams. I'd have kept you along if that's the case. And the way they done it, they shouldn't have done it. They should have let you finish the year out with a
But
plaque.
they didn't understand. They didn't understand marketing.
Right,
That's one of our biggest problems now.
right, right,
I don't think it's an AD in the league. Well, I don't want to put it on all ADs, but not many ADs raise money at the historical black college. I'm gonna say this at Grambling AD. No, the money he raises from the Bayou Classic and from the Fairground Classic. He ain't raised no money. Them boys out there playing raising money.
right, right,
But they
what?
take that, and the
Mhm.
president not don't look at that from the standpoint how much money you raise. Let
Right,
him tell you. Let it be based on did he raise his salary?
right,
He couldn't even raise his salary. And that's what AD is supposed to do is
yeah,
raise money.
right,
Now it's very sudden you should be at the school. You need to have somebody running it day to day, so you
well,
can go out there and meet people to try to get some envelope full of money to bring into the university.
and
But
you
that
need
doesn't
and you need a coach that can reach out. And it's so important that you said that. And right now, in the last 5 years, and I hate to say since George Floyd and all these police shootings and HBCUs and people trying to reach out, shit, it's easy. It's easy to go raise money. And
happen.
here's the other catcher for some of y'all schools and most black schools that don't have a Hall of Fame to honor your past players. Those are fundraising opportunities. And once you get that thing going and they start seeing it grows, grows, grows. I
I'm
know in
so
Texas Southern we don't have one.
So
Yeah,
I'm so glad you said that because, 13 years ago, James Shaq Harris and I, we started the Grambling Legend Hall of Fame. And it ain't just football. It's for everybody,
right,
whatever athletic program on that campus, or your trainers, your coach, you know, everybody's included. And every year, we end up putting about 7 or 8 guys in, whether or not it's 4 football players, but 2 basketball, whatever, girls basketball, girls track. We bring them all in, and we in July we have we've sold out every year for the last 13 years, man. And not only that, but it ain't just for show; it's for giving those guys flowers, but at the same time raising money
right,
for we give back to certain programs at the school and things like that. That's what Hall of Fame is all about. Bring your history up, man. Let them understand we had some guys on this campus. We feel like walking on Grambling campus, man. We call it hollow ground.
right,
Because when you talk
right.
about Buck Buchanan and Ernie Ladd and Garland Boyette and Willie Brown and Willie Davis,
Yeah.
sitting here now, and you think about those guys travel the same grounds you travel today. And that's hollow ground. So you got
Them
to
swag.
respect
They
that and you got
swag,
to
coach.
honor.
That's swag.
We swag.
That's right, coach. We swag, coach. No, ain't man, ain't look. I got Dion. You ain't swag, man. You the man, but you ain't swag. Hey, Eddie Robinson said, Junior said the best. You ain't swag, man. I
Hey,
tell you,
look, he said it with some conviction too.
and, 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 and I think if somebody is looking at this show, they can see the passion that we have for our universities. And I always tell these guys, people give money to people. They don't
Yeah,
give money to buildings.
yeah.
So when
No,
you
I
bring
agree.
your people back, when you hire your people on your campus, you build tradition, strength. But I know at my alma mater, man, we so famous, but we just think somebody else on the outside is gonna come in here and save us. Noah in the ark is gone.
No
We
matter
got
how no
we
matter how
gotta
much you no matter how much it rain, you
gone. Because if it rain again, we all gone. But I'm just telling them, I tell my folks all the time, man. You got to love each other. I think the MEAC and the SWAC can get together, man, and put together a great TV package. and sell it with the Orange Blossom City Classic, the Magic City Classic, the Bayou, and put it all together. Pay the producers, the promoters, let them get their money, just like the SEC. I
Oh
know
yeah,
we could get, 500, $50 million, $100 million for a TV package for people because our bands is gonna bring people.
the
You know what
band.
I
You're
mean?
right. No,
Game
you're
day
right.
now is coming out to the swag. We there, but we won't pull together, man. We gonna keep Dion down. Ain't no way a man making 300 about to get paid 5 million, and you got something to say. It ain't a person in the world that wouldn't take that deal.
Oh, you tell me somebody who wouldn't take it, and he need his behind whipped if you don't take that one.
Yeah.
You know,
So
it's one of those things, man. We say here, and Dion has brought the best out of both of us, to be honest with you, and a whole lot of other people, because we realize the power that we have at the black institution if we use it. You know, that's just like whatever Dion brought to Jackson. You know, the AD there, the president, got to ride that, man. Whoever's in there, you got to talk to those people and keep Jackson. You got to keep Jackson up because you've been up so high right now. And the worst thing in the world to do is let it fall down. You got to keep it up. And not only that, but Charles, and the commissioner got to do the same thing. What Dion brought to this conference, you got to try to take advantage of that,
you
man,
got to
and
build
and,
on
and,
it.
and ride that wave while the wave is good. And if you keep riding it, it'll get to the point that it just sell out, and you be like that the rest of the time. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I like to say one of the things that he brought was every time they went to somebody's stadium, it sold out. I know at TSU, everybody came out. Well, hopefully we can see that if we just come and support, come out to the games and support. That's how college games look. But the I don't want nobody to misunderstand that the SWAC conference, when it comes to attendance, we have better attendance than some of the Division 1A schools.
Well, all you got to do is
Make sure folks know that.
look at these bowl games coming up, and look in the
Oh yeah,
stadium.
they
Some of the
that camera
cameras,
gonna be down on the trainer. You
some
ain't
of the
gonna see
cameras,
nobody.
the cameras won't even show the whole stadium.
Right,
because
right.
because they got the sponsors, though, they can get away with it, and that's what we got to do. Like you just said, it's not about the players, but we as people, we as alumni, we as black folks, and hopefully some white folks, we need to come out and support these schools, man. Just like you went to see Dion team. Well, Dion ain't here now, but you
Yeah,
need to go see Jackson. You need to go see Grambling, Southern, Texas Southern. That's what we need to do,
right.
and forget about the fact that Dion brought out the crowd, because Dion ain't gonna bring out the crowd no more. He might play one school or so from our conference every now and then to give us some money,
Right.
which we appreciate that too. But at the same time, you got to worry about the kids that go to these schools and go out and support them. That's the most important thing. We're not only supporting the school, but we're supporting these kids, man. When they run out there and they see people in the stand, that's a great feeling. I know when I was young, man, look, when you run from under that chute, man, you look out there, hey, look, it's game time. It's ready to go, man. So I knew what it's like when you run out there and you see all these people out there to see me play. And that's what we got to get back to do, and do these kids the same way we was able to do when we went to school.
I'm gonna put your memory cap on. You played in the Astrodome. Y'all the first one sold the Astrodome out. 75,000.
76.
Yeah, yeah. Even before the Houston Oilers, you don't sold out the Bayou Classic as a player, as a youngster. You
You're
know,
right.
every y'all play. Did you play up in New York too?
Every year,
Morgan
Yankee
State,
Stadium
Yankee Stadium,
sold
sellout.
out.
Yeah. So this stuff ain't. We lost ourselves in that after that 70 era
Yeah,
when
I
we
agree.
really start going was able to they were able to start convincing our black players to go to PWI school.
You're right. You're right.
Take us back to that time just for because I was a high school kid. I told you
Well,
the only
let
quarterback
me
at
say this,
Jackson I
Johnny.
seen was Grambling.
Let me say that I got the ground in '73, and the teams before me, man, was team that I was in awe with just watching them play. But when I got there, I think my recruiting year probably was kind of the last of the Mohiga getting the players where you couldn't go anywhere else. You had to go to a black college.
Right.
But our mindset on that campus, it didn't matter who we played. We used to ask Coach Rob all the time, why don't we play LSU? Why don't we play Louisiana Tech?
Right.
And the one thing Coach Rob, I'm gonna give him credit, him and the president. Coach Rob told us, he said, hell, we don't gain nothing by beating them. He didn't say play them. He said we don't gain nothing by beating up on LSU, because in his mind, he felt like we could beat LSU too.
Right.
And this is what he explained to her. He said, hell, Cat, let me tell you, the things that we get for these universities, we got to go to Baton Rouge, the capital. Hell, we got to ask those people for things. And hell, Coach Prayers go up there and he go up there crying and he get everything he wants. And you know what? That made sense because he said, hell, if we beat the hell out of them people, they ain't going to give us nothing. No. And that's how smart Coach Rob was. Right. And let me tell you, I feel like we could have because during my time, we played against Hawaii twice. Right. We beat Hawaii in Hawaii twice.
Right.
We played against Temple twice. We split with Temple. We lost one game in the last play of the game, 31-30.
Right.
And we went out to Portland, Oregon, and we beat Oregon State. I'm like the other day, I'm sitting there watching Oregon State, man. I'm thinking about the time we went out there and we beat Oregon State. So we had players, the James Hunters of the world, the Robert Pennywell, the Ezel Bibbs, the Big Hand Johnson, Robert Barber, Jesse O'Neal. I'm telling you, we had players that would have dominated. And, you put us in the SEC, we'd have been playing in the CFB during that time. We would have won. Yeah. And that's how I feel. And the team before us would have won. And, and like you say, these recruiting wars, it wasn't about wars. It was about a car here, or your mom and dad get a couple of dollars, and I got my son here and that. I remember one lady, my dad was in the hospital down in New Orleans, in the veteran hospital, and I'm sitting in there, and this lady, she's a nurse, and I guess she thought she was telling me something. She was saying, "Oh, my son going to Ole Miss." I said, "Oh, going to Ole Miss." Now think about it. This is in 1970. So you telling me about Ole Miss? And she said, "Yeah, they giving my son giving me a wash and a dryer." I said, "Hold on." I said, "You got a wash and a dryer to send your son to go play for Johnnie Rebel?"
Wow.
I told her, because that time she got the best of me. I said, "Johnnie Rebel." I said, "You know what that is?" She said, "What you mean?" I say, "Johnnie Rebel is a rebel. He's a Confederate soldier. That's who Johnnie Rebel is. Right. You're going to play for Ole Miss?" Right. She said, "Well, yeah, and nobody else." I said, "Ma'am," I said, "I got you." It's things like that kind of make you remember, what it was like. And we started losing kids for, he got a car, they got a car. When you talk about Texas and Oklahoma back in that day, they had oil wells.
Oh, yeah.
They can give a kid $5,000 to come, because that's what it was. It wasn't nothing like it is today. They just opened up the NIL.
Right.
But they've been NIL, man, for the longest, illegally.
Illegally, yeah. I mean, and talking to players across. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm NCAA. I got a talk to a player on the phone. Oh, you the ghost. Okay. I want to say that too because here's what backfired off of all that. They started letting our players come in, but they didn't respect the coaches. And then when they did have a couple coaches, they would get one or two that was the recruiter on those black college staff.
You got to go in the hood. You got to go in the hood.
Then those coaches didn't make them bring other coaches. And then it went on into the 80s. Then it went on to the 90s. And now we're still struggling. Has it changed? Yes. But it's still not even close to when you look on the sideline and see. The one thing I hate, Doug, is when they showing them NFL games and they show up in the camera, or the offensive coordinator and the assistant, all of them white, and then they got all the black guys standing up taking notes.
You know what? I saw that yesterday, man, and this is my thing too. And these announcers, they help them all get head coaching job because they talk about all the things that they've done. I watched Kansas City game once. Not one time did they say anything about Eric Bieniemy.
Right,
But the other coaches, they blow him up. And
right,
and
right.
we as black, as announcer on them games, we don't do it either.
No,
We
no.
don't do it either. Even all
Jay
these coaches.
Walker, Jay is more people than Jake Gaithers and Eddie Robinson. Man, talk about some of these present guys.
But that's what I'm saying. That's one of the things that we don't get. Like after the end of this year, these job openings. You got guys that's announcing these games now, trying to promote guys already without promoting them, but just calling their name like the defensive coordinator. I like defensive coordinator from Dallas,
Right.
but last night I'm sitting there watching the game. I bet y'all heard his name 10 times.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and that's how
Yeah.
they promote it because you and I both know the more you say it, the more you hear it, the more you believe it,
That's
and
right.
that's what is going on.
That's right. That's right, man. That's right. I just, and we still, behind the eight ball in getting black coaches in. If all you guys, don't waste your time on Dion. Switch those things over on Facebook and talk positive, what he brought to the university, what he brought to Black College. But we all need to be cheering for him because he can open up some other doors. We got other coaches like Jerry Mack, Kendrick Williams. We got other black coaches at these other Paul White schools that's in positions that they should be promoted to be head football coaches.
Well, and I agree, and I think Dion is going to do his part to preach about the coaches down here because he got experience coaching in the SWAC.
Yeah.
I think he's going to tell everybody, there's a lot of coaches down there that deserve it. Like my man Simmons up at Florida A&M.
Yeah. Wow.
I've heard that his name was in the hat for South Florida, but it's a difference in being in the hat. Get him out the hat.
Well,
Give him
they just hired the offensive coordinator from Tennessee.
Yeah,
at
I
South
saw
Florida.
that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Now, how he's better than Simmons?
Uh,
Because he's from Tennessee and he white? That's
Ain't
the
no
only thing I can
question.
see.
Ain't no question.
Yeah.
Because and Simmons does have some PWI background as well. He came from Middle
He
Tennessee
played. He
State.
played at a PWI.
Yeah, I think it was Clemson, I want to say.
He went to Clemson.
Yeah, and then he
Yeah.
went to Middle Tennessee State and coached and left there, and that's when he bounced down at Alcorn.
Right.
So he's I mean, we got a bunch of great black guys out there, man, and we got to promote them, and we got to quit. Doug, we cut each other so bad, man. It's so crucial. It's just I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, it's like you said earlier. We got to lift each other up. Really, to be honest with you, we should have a black coaches seminar, man. And not that it's going to get us job, but uplift everybody.
Right.
And if you get a job, bring somebody with you.
Right.
We need to get together and do that, man. Because hey, if we don't do it, nobody else won't give a damn about whether we get it done or not.
Or we need a symposium with the NCAA in there. Because these are state schools that's not hard. You got state schools that's never hired a black African American coach in no sports. And we give them state and federal money and funds to run their programs. Man,
Yeah.
I tell you, boy, it's always great to talk to you, coach.
Hey man, it's been good, man. And like we say, let's cheer Dion on and let's help all these black colleges. Let's get some people in there and get these guys a chance to coach who can coach and not be looking for Dion. Dion gone. Dion is gone and we're gonna cheer for him. But there's a lot of good coaches who want an opportunity. And I think we got to give those guys a chance.
Well, I'll talk basketball. I mean, football scoop talk. It looks like Dion might be taking the head coach at Florida A&M with him, and also the head coach at Mississippi Valley. And then that would leave about 5 HBCU jobs open, which we need to be able to see who they gonna hire. Here, Delaware State has went and hired a firm to go choose their head coach.
Who?
Delaware State, a firm, some firm. I'm trying to find out what firm it is.
Why would you hire for him? See,
Like, coach.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So
that's them.
and probably ain't nobody in the firm ever even been over to Delaware State's campus.
Well, first of all, you should hire me and Shaq to help you pick a coach.
Well, maybe,
Cheney
hey,
Berry
coach,
went undefeated.
maybe we need to form one. Maybe we
Yeah,
need to
you
form a
know,
group.
Cheney Berry went undefeated. Rob Parker up
Yeah,
at Virginia Union. You
yeah,
got yourself sitting out there, Johnny, who, when you talk about offense, ain't nobody else going to know more offense.
yeah,
So
yeah.
who you hiring? Who they picking?
Yeah, you got Frazier back up at Virginia State is back
Yeah.
into the game. Yeah.
No,
And you got Maynard over there at Alabama A&M.
Alabama and
Yeah,
A&M.
yeah, yeah,
Nah, you got coaches.
yeah, yeah.
Give them a
It just
chance.
yeah. And then when you get guys like Hugh Freeze and these repeated guys, which is fine with me. I get it. They want to win.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to win.
See,
But
Freeze got his job because he beat Saban twice.
yeah, yeah,
That's why he got his job. They
yeah.
didn't worry about his phone numbers that he gonna bring with him. That's cool and all that.
Oh, coach, no. I heard he had two houses at Liberty. One on campus that had rules, and one off campus had no rules.
I can
So
believe that.
I don't know which one he lived in. So uh, I mean, that's a whole another story in another day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's for somebody else to discuss.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, first, I want to thank you because this was a spur of the moment. All this came around. I said, who's better to call than the man who was played at Black College, NFL MVP, coached 2 or 3 national championship teams, been there, done it. This probably could shut some of that Facebook down and some of that stuff down and say, man, we need to change those negatives to positives. Everybody needs to be cheering for Deion Sanders. That him and his family and his son, I'm pretty sure is already there. He already got his bags packed, or he'll finish
Yeah,
the semester out
yeah,
and
he's
get on
gone.
out there
If
and wish them well.
if me saying I'm cheering for Deion Sanders has any help to turn everybody else's mentality, let's cheer for Deion Sanders.
Ain't
I
no
am.
question, Coach. It
Yeah.
is you still our hero. Will always be our hero, man. And man, y'all got the Commanders turning around.
I
So
tell
y'all
you what,
playing good
we end up
football.
with a tie yesterday, but we'll take it other than defeat,
Yeah,
But they playing great football, man. I tell you, I think we're a team right now nobody else wants to play.
yeah, yeah. That quarterback he's he right at that borderline of being average and great.
You know what though? Nobody gonna deem him as great, but what he is, he's fearless.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
ain't scared of nothing,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he gonna
yeah,
try it. He gonna throw it. If he see it, he's throwing it. And 9 out of 10, when he does, something happens.
yeah. All right, Doug, man, I appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you. I'll see you probably at the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah, you know what, John? I'm gonna be there that Friday night. My brother going into the Hall of Fame baseball.
Wow.
He going to SWAC Hall of Fame, and then that Saturday morning, I actually got to fly out to Dallas because I got a daughter who's getting a graduate degree at
Wow.
SMU. So um,
Wow. Wow.
I'll be
Wow.
stopping
Well,
in and
we'll be passing each other by.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna get there on Friday, so hopefully I get to see you Friday.
All right, man. Take care of
Okay.
yourself.
All right. Take care.
Appreciate it.
All right. That's it for the show, man. It was great. Always great talking to Doug Williams. Black folks, come on, man. We got some of the greatest schools in the country. We got to support them. Send your kids there. Send your money there. Come to the game. Support them. That's how those other schools become who they are. Alumni, come on back and give. Presidents, athletic directors, hire the right guy. Quit hiring your friend. Hire somebody that have been to the school, has some invested interest in their universities. Uh, like I always say, I want to give a shout out to Slow Burn, a cigar company that supports me. But as I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot, hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, December 5th, 2022. Number 1, National Democrats are looking ahead to the presidential primary season, and they're flipping the script. Leading Democrats are looking to reward the African American base by shuffling the deck and moving the state of South Carolina to the front of the presidential primary line. This takes the spotlight off of Iowa, the state many feel does not adequately represent the racial diversity of the Democratic Party. Number 2, the Sunday airwaves were abuzz following the latest provocative statement from Donald Trump. The former president took to his social media platform to call for the termination of parts of the U.S. Constitution in order to overturn the 2020 presidential election and return him to power. In the wake of Donald Trump's latest controversial statement, Democrats voiced their concerns and pointed to the danger of his words. From his fellow Republicans, not so much. Number 3, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said he wants to keep the military's COVID-19 vaccine mandate in place to protect the health of his troops, as Republican governors and lawmakers press to rescind it. This past week, more than 20 Republican governors sent a letter to the president and asked that the administration remove the mandate, saying it has hurt the U.S. National Guard's ability to recruit troops. Congress may consider legislation this coming week to end the mandate as a requirement to gather enough support to pass this year's defense budget, which is already 2 months late. Number 4, on October 6, Gulfport, Mississippi police responded to an emergency call reporting individuals brandishing a firearm inside a Kia Soul car that was parked at a Family Dollar store. According to Gulfport Police Chief Adam Cooper, an officer told 15-year-old Jaheim McMillan to stop, but he refused and turned a gun on the officer. The officer allegedly told McMillan to drop his weapon, and he opened fire when the boy refused. McMillan was struck in the head and died 2 days after being taken off of life support. Eyewitnesses at the scene of the shooting recall an unjustified shooting of an unarmed black teenager. Number 5, what is symbolic about Jesus being born in a stable and placed in a manger? A manger, or a crib, sometimes called a trough, is a structure used to feed large farm animals. It's usually made of stone or wood and can be found in stables, caves, or anywhere animals are housed. Read more about this in It's Ministry Monday in today's What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Taking a deep breath allows oxygen to flow to the brain and clear your mind. Clearer already. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians Chris Paul and Huggy Lowdown and social justice activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. To subscribe to my free daily What You Need to Know newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.